Yes, we are live. Yes, we are live. Yes, we are live for night one of the 2023 WWE Draft. Friday Night SmackDown on Fox is about 12 minutes away from going live on the air, and this is going to be a bit of fun. I promised you guys, look, this year, what I want to do is I want to get back to doing more watch-alongs. I want to get back to doing more reaction shows, post-shows. Not always easy to do. I can only be awake for so many hours a day. I try my very best. But what I want to do, and I said that we're going to be bringing back the watch-along starting with WrestleMania. And again, that's what we're doing. Not only did we do a watch-along of both nights of WrestleMania and both reaction streams to both of them, we're also doing it out for the draft. We're going to be live until the end of SmackDown with this watch-along. Then we're going to do a post-show as well. And then we're going to be doing the exact same thing Monday night on Raw. 3-hour watch-along for Raw on USA, night 2 of the draft, and a post-show reaction for that. And then Saturday, we're going to be doing a watch-along for Backlash live in San Juan, Puerto Rico with a reaction stream for that. So it's all going on here on the channel. So if you haven't already, be sure to smash the like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right hand corner. I failed to prepare properly for this one, I've just noticed, because I haven't set up my live comments. Let me sort that out now in time for the show. Now, the way I've tried to make this work, because I want this to look as good as possible. So as you can see behind me this evening, you've got the Raw side of things and you've got the SmackDown side of things. Now, as the draft pick happens, they will populate behind me. Oh yeah. We're going there this evening. We're trying to do the graphics properly. So as the draft picks happen, they're going to appear behind me. So regardless of when you tune in the show, you should be able to see who's been selected for Raw, who's been selected for SmackDown. Now, I don't know how well I've planned it out, because at the same time, hopefully we'll be able to fit them all in. But there are quite people available to be selected tonight, and even more for Raw on Monday. So we'll see how it works. But there you go. Lux Hill says, big up Lux Hill, long time support from United View, says, Big Owen, time to bust open the crate of Carabao. Hey. We don't do... I can't even see. It's a monster. It's a monster that's green, so it floats. Look at that. No one can tell. No one can see. Yeah, it's gonna be a long few days or hours. But look, I love this. This is my dream. Can you imagine? You know, what do you do? I'll talk about football and wrestling. Who am I to complain? Never. You will never hear me complain, because I'm living the dream. And it's all because of you guys, all because of your support. So never ever in a million years. And I hope you join me on this journey with this channel. Harry says, and I tell you what, my live chats are all over the place. There you go. Hi Owen, won't be here long. I'm tired, but I'll see what happens tomorrow morning. Look, Harry, I think a lot of people are tired. It's been a long week. If you're a United fan coming over from United View as well, hey, it's always tiring. It's always being a football fan, and just being a wrestling fan in the UK is tiring stuff. People don't appreciate, how much dedication goes into being a pro wrestling fan over here in the UK. And this is why I always give so much credit to people that are international football supporters of Man United from like the USA or from the Middle East, from Asia, wherever, because the time zones are crazy. And I know, being a wrestling fan, having to stay up till 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning just to watch something that you enjoy, that's dedication. And it goes both ways. It's the same with football, it's the same with wrestling. So I'll always appreciate that when it comes to it. So indeed. Gavin says, yes, Owen, love from Manny. You're bloody hardcore with the dedication you have to the YouTube craft. It's not even hardcore. It's not even hardcore. It's passion. It's pure passion, Gavin, but I appreciate you tuning in. Now, as far as people that are available to be drafted this evening, we do have our draft pools. They were announced today. So if you're not familiar with the draft concept in WWE, basically, there's a group of people that can be drafted tonight, and then the next pool, they're available to be drafted on Monday Night Raw on Monday. So there are some people that you might say, hey, why weren't they drafted this evening? It's because they weren't available to be drafted. Now, usually, because Raw is a longer show, it's 3 hours, usually they get 3 draft picks for every 2 that SmackDown gets. So each round has usually 5 picks, 3 for Raw, 2 for SmackDown. Now, the people that are eligible to be drafted this evening are as follows in alphabetical order. We've got Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Bobby Lashley, Candice LeRae, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville as a tag team, Cody Rhodes, Damage Control, the entirety of Damage Control. So that's Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Dexter Lumis, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Edge, the entirety of Hit Row, so that's Top Dollar, Ashante, the Adonis with B-Fab, the entirety of Imperium, that being Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, and the Intercontinental Champion GUNTHER. You also got Lacey Evans, Matt Riddle, the Maximum Male Models, which is ma.cé, mån.sôör, and Maxxine Dupri. Mustafa Ali, Natalia, the Nigerian giant Amos with MVP, of course, his manager, Shinsuke Nakamura. This is where things get very interesting because the Bloodline is eligible to be drafted tonight, but only half of the Bloodline, and maybe some would argue the most important half, because the Bloodline's eligible to be drafted tonight, but the people who are eligible in the Bloodline are Solo Sikoa and the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. And we're going to circle back to that in a second, because as to who the first draft pick is going to be, that's going to be very interesting. Other people available to be drafted are The Miz, the OC. Now, I'm not going to go into spoiler territory, but the fact that they're available to be drafted tonight, yeah, they might just be there. The OC, of course, that being AJ Styles, who's been out of action since earlier this year, late last year, whenever it was, after suffering a broken ankle. AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Kyle Anderson, and Michin Mia Yim. The Street Profits, the Viking Raiders, and select NXT Superstars. We don't know which NXT Superstars they are, so expect some NXT surprises as well this evening. But I mentioned the first draft pick. That's going to be the fascinating one, because traditionally, the first draft pick usually goes to Monday Night Raw, of course, because Raw have the most draft picks. As I mentioned, usually it goes Raw, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw. And that's the way the round works, because Raw gets 3, SmackDown gets 2. Now, logically, in terms of a storyline, the number one draft pick surely should be the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. So if Raw does get the first draft pick, surely they select Roman Reigns, but there's no way that SmackDown, the A show with the largest audience, they're on network television, they're on Fox, there's no way they don't select Roman Reigns, right? So, or they don't get Roman Reigns on their show. So that's a really interesting situation, because do they do a whole, we're backing Cody Rhodes to the first draft picks, the American Nightmare on Monday Night Raw, even though from a storyline perspective, it'd be like, wouldn't you want the guy who hasn't lost in like 3 years? Or no, closing in on 4 years. Last time he suffered a defeat was in December 2019. So he's closing in on 4 years, nearly 1,000 days as Universal Champion. Wouldn't you want that guy on your show? So that's going to be fascinating to see how they get around that, unless they're just deciding, no, you can have Reigns on SmackDown, and you can have we'll have the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. So that's going to be a really interesting decision, or way they maneuver that this evening. Could there be a situation, and to be honest, actually thinking about it, if Roman Reigns gets drafted to Raw, that's a real indication, I think, of where the situation is going when it comes to the network for SmackDown. Remember, this year WWE is negotiating its media rights fees for both shows. Now, you would expect that Raw is going to stay on USA Network. They're going to agree a new deal with NBC Universal. But as far as SmackDown staying on Fox, that's far from guaranteed. SmackDown only became the A show when they moved to Fox in 2019. Once they agreed that deal, that the Blue Brand was going back to network television in late 2018, that's when SmackDown started to get the big stars in the subsequent Superstar shakeup. After the following year's WrestleMania, that's when Roman Reigns went to SmackDown, and it was like, okay, we're stacking SmackDown because Fox paid $1 billion and it's got a bigger audience. If Roman Reigns were to get drafted to Raw, to me that would say, hey, WWE might not be that confident that they're going to be sticking around on Fox for SmackDown, which again is a really fascinating thing. So all of this is very, very interesting, and I'm very excited, and I love a good draft. Let's see what some of you guys are saying as well. Lux Hill says, remember that one WrestleMania that went on for 7-ish hours? I think it was WrestleMania 37. Imagine doing a stream for that. WrestleMania 37 was 2 days, because I did do a stream for that one. I think the one you might be referring to is WrestleMania 35. The couple of those last like single day WrestleManias were something else. Thankfully, I wasn't around. I was alive. I wasn't streaming during that period of time, because yeah, brutal. That would have been really, really tough. I'd have got, I don't know, the energy drink shakes after having to do those. That would have been, yeah, not good. John says, yes, Owen, you're mints and can't wait for tonight. Appreciate you joining me, John, and appreciate you all tuning in here on the channel. Again, if you haven't already, click the like button and be sure to subscribe as well. We do daily wrestling news, 2 videos per day usually, WWE and AEW news. Plus, as I mentioned, the watch-alongs, they're coming back. We're doing one right now as well. And the post-shows, it's going to be a busy week. Again, we're going to have tonight's watch-along and post-show. Plus, we're going to have a watch-along and post-show Monday. And we're going to have a watch-along and post-show Saturday for Backlash. So, a really exciting week here on the channel that we're always growing. We're less than 100 subscribers away, actually, from 11K. Can you imagine? 11K. This was my entry into the streaming world of YouTube, was doing this channel. So, it's my baby. It's my pride and joy. And I'm never, ever going to give it up. Just like wrestling. I'm never going to grow out of it. I'm a big child. See what some of you guys are saying as well. SJ, one of our mods, long-time supporter, cross-channel, says, finally sensible earphones. Well, these are the ones that connect to my television, and I don't have to push in all the time. These are the old-school ones. But the sound isn't as good as it is with AirPods, but they are a lot more reliable and, to be honest, a lot more comfortable. And I don't have to be doing that. I don't have to be doing any touching. They connect to my TV. It's just they are good. And they're like significantly cheaper. I mean, significantly cheaper than AirPods as well. So there you go. We are about a minute away. So let me get my sound up on my television as well. I can hear. Excellent. Look at this. How exciting. Jason says, and we can move this up. I'll get my chat position correct eventually. There's Owen, I'm excited. This will be Triple H's first draft. He's running on his own without Vinnie Mac. Do you think we get any surprises or swerves by Triple H? Are you doing the Raw draft on Monday? I am doing the Raw draft on Monday, and you say it's Triple H's first draft, but Vince McMahon is always a looming. He made significant changes to Raw on Monday, and he'll basically continue to do that whilst he's around. So even if he's not there, he's doing that too. But here we go. Let's go. As we are just mere seconds away from starting. We're getting the cold open. Then, now, forever. Together. Of course, Roman Reigns has been added into it now. Acknowledge me. But as far as surprises, I mean, there has been some rumours of people that haven't been included in the draft pool possibly being there tonight. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Either way, we'll watch it together. But big names, big names available to be drafted tonight. As I mentioned, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. My feeling is they're going to be like, Raw gets the first pick and they're going to pick Cody Rhodes, which to me, I mean, I'm all in on, making Cody Rhodes the guy, but that to me makes 0 sense, honestly. And we're live, yeah. Where are they tonight? Night 1 of the 2023 WWE Draft is open. It's on the way. Oh, Corpus Christi, Texas. Historically a terrible crowd, by the way. Corpus Christi. Texas is always good, but Corpus Christi. And, of course, we've got a WrestleMania main event. I forgot that as well, don't we? A WrestleMania main event rematch. WrestleMania Night 1 main event rematch. Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships on the line. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. And we could see a title change, it must be said. Oh, here he comes. Here comes the game. The King of Kings. Let's go. Who's going to be doing the picks? Is it going to be Triple H? I've heard rumours of several people possibly doing the picks this evening. And there he is, the game himself, the CCO of WWE, WWE Hall of Famer. Do you think in his lifetime he'll ever go in the Hall of Fame as a single entity? Of course, he's a Hall of Famer by proxy of being part of D-Generation X in 2019. But he's... Triple H has had some moments. I think Triple H is going to be making the pick, seemingly. Look at him. He's got cards in his hands. Game show host Triple H. Jason says, is Bray available? He's not been listed in any of the draft pools. Doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to be picked, but I think it's unlikely. And the game welcomes us to Friday Night SmackDown. Triple H chants. Welcome to the draft. Are we going to get picked straight away? Explain the rules. Yeah. He says, let's lay down some ground rules. Because he's a big stickler for rules. Every superstar is subject to transferring to the next brand. 50% of the roster tonight. The other 50% on Monday. On Raw. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think LA Knight, is he tonight? He is. No, he's night 2. There's the Friday draft pool on the screen. All of the people in there. We went through that draft pool previously. So, who's going to... And I wonder how are they going to do it? They're not doing general managers anymore. I think it's Adam Pearce still as... Select superstars from NXT are also available, as we mentioned. Now, who they are going to reveal who they are? The post-draft rosters officially go into place on May 8th after Backlash. Time to shake things up. Time to make things a bit more exciting. Yeah, please. Since WrestleMania, it's been a bit flat. First round, 4 picks. Ooh, they're doing it different. Are you ready? Ah, yeah. Let's go, Triple H. First pick. SmackDown is going to be Roman Reigns. All 3 drafted as one. Paul Heyman. Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. Yep. Yep, they're sticking around. Not very surprised with that one. So I said that. How are they going to do it? That's what they had to do. Package deal. Not a bad package deal, is it? But yes, Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and Roman Reigns, they are staying on SmackDown. Not surprised, really, is it? That means the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be exclusive to Monday Night Raw, of course. Raw. Who's their first pick going to be? Got to be Cody, innit? Got to be Cody. If it's not Cody, yeah. Not surprised. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. First picks, obviously. That was always going to be the case. Adrenaline in my soul. Every thought is out of control. So it's going to be equal ones. That's interesting that they're doing it like that. They cut off the woe. There, we did it. The woe. Who's SmackDown selecting? Wow. Bianca Belair. Wow. The Raw Women's Champion is going to SmackDown. That's interesting. So what are they going to do there? Hopefully they don't do what they did before when we're just going to swap. We're going to swap the titles. Interesting. Well, does that mean Rhea Ripley sticking on Raw, possibly with the Judgment Day? Didn't see that one coming. Becky Lynch is on Monday Night Raw. Now, again, I hope they don't just do what... I remember when it was the Street Profits, wasn't it? The Street Profits had... they were the Raw Tag Team Champions. They got drafted to SmackDown. I forget who was the SmackDown Tag Team Champions at the time. And they just swapped them. They just swapped the titles. Well, that's the first round. The second round is being focused on right now. So what do you all think of that? But here come the Usos. The Usos look like they're coming out next. M. Bison says, you're shouting, Owen. I'm excited. I'm excited. That's why. This is me when I'm watching wrestling. And here come the Usos. And here come the Usos, of course. They're set to challenge for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships this evening. Ashley said, I like the shout. I was just getting excited. I get excited. Obviously, you know me. I've always got my things up, like cranked up as high as possible because I'm half deaf. But the Usos are cutting a promo. That's true as well. As Lux Hill says, I'm hardwired on Monster. And Gavin says, all those years of watching the excitable Jim Ross, the King and Taz. You got to. But the Usos cutting a promo. Roman Reigns isn't even at SmackDown tonight either. He's not, I don't think, doing any appearances since until the build-up to Night of Champions. The Usos dedicating their victory tonight to their tribal chief, apparently. I tell you, now they're getting interrupted by Kevin Owens. Out comes Kevin Owens. This opening segment's going along, isn't it? There he is. There's KO wearing Raw sneakers. Interesting. Oh, here comes Sami Zayn too. The rumor is as well, they are splitting up the tag team championships too. The rumor is that they're going back to real old school settings, not even calling them Raw and SmackDown tag team championships. They're calling them the World Tag Team Championships and the WWE Tag Team Championships, which is how they used to do it back in the day. World Tag Team titles on Raw, WWE Tag Team titles on SmackDown. And both sets of titles were absolutely beautiful. I love the original split Tag Team Championships back in the day. Probably preferred the WWE Tag Team titles. Dan Mason says, are you on any NGs to keep you going? Of course. You've got to. Invisible. Invisible. But thankfully, I don't have to get up. I don't have to get up early tomorrow, so I'm all right. I like how they're doing this on the stage as opposed to in the ring. You don't often really see this. Usually it's, the format is go to the ring, microphone in the hand, do the promo. But this is on the stage. I like that. Patrick Walsh said it was the New Day when they swapped the titles. Was that the ones they swapped the titles with, the Street Profits? At the time, it was so stupid, wasn't it? It was so dumb. I wasn't a fan. I tell you what, Jey Uso's so good on the mic, isn't he? He really is. Some people were saying that maybe Jey Uso's the one to defeat Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. It would be very full circle, wouldn't it? Considering that's who his first title defense was against, Night of Champions 2020, and go all the way around to Jey Uso beating him eventually. The question is, would he be believable as a Universal Champion, as a World Champion? Maybe. KO's firing up. Keep our titles. He don't care. Throw the microphone down. Good setup. Strong opening segment. We've got the first round of the draft picks. You can see them there. Plus, look at that shot. KO and Sami Zayn facing off with the Usos. Main event settings. It's going to be a big one. It is. Lux Hill says, oh, and how many hours do you tend to sleep on days where you have WN365 and UV stream the next morning? Not enough. Not enough. But like I said, you will never catch me complaining, ever. Because who am I to complain to be doing that? I am beyond fortunate and lucky. I really am. It is a dream come true. Kev says, so Cody gets the consolation title shot versus Rollins, I guess. We'll probably lose that as well. Well, it has been rumoured, hasn't it, that Seth Rollins is the early leader, the early favourite to be the first WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And one would think with Cody Rhodes being on the Raw brand, then he's going to be challenging for that title. Maybe he faces Rollins and Brock costs him. I don't know. Of course, Brock Lesnar, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes as well. Remember, he can't challenge Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Universal Championship because he lost at SummerSlam last year. But he could challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. We've got Butch versus LA Knight coming up next. Yeah. It should be a good match. There was rumours that Pete Dunne was going to get his name back after WrestleMania. Of course, as of right now, he's still Butch. You can turn that off. No one likes adverts. But what does everyone think of the picks so far? If you're just joining us again, you can see them up there. I think I've done a good job. I think I've done a good job of that. My only concern is that I'm gonna run out of room. Clearly, I'm going to run out of room. And as I mentioned, Raw on Monday, we might have to get a bit creative with that. But so far, so good. So yes, round one so far. First pick went to SmackDown, Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, in addition with Paul Heyman. First pick for Monday Night Raw was the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Nothing too surprising there. Second pick in round one was Bianca Belair. Currently, the Raw Women's Champion is now going to SmackDown. Again, how they address that is going to be interesting. There were rumours, and I think this is maybe what they're trying to do, because when you've got brand-specific titles, i.e. the Raw Women's Championship or the SmackDown Women's Championship or the Raw Tag Team Championships or the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, when you've got instances like this where you want to switch them over from the brands, it makes it difficult. You can't have the SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw. So there was a rumor that basically Triple H wanted to rename the titles and move them away from being brand specific. So, for instance, you've got the Universal Championship and you've got the World Heavyweight Championship. It doesn't matter which show they're on because they're not tied to any specific show. So what we could see is the Women's Championship be on Raw and then a renamed version on SmackDown or something like that, in the same way that you've got the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship. Same way, as I mentioned, for the Tag Team Championships, it has been rumoured it's going to be the World Tag Team Championships and the WWE Tag Team Championships. So that might be the case when it comes to the women's titles. Again, what they would name them though, I don't know. I'm not sure what that would be. So again, we'll see with that. See what some of you guys are saying. Star-Lord, big up, says big up Owen, big up Star-Lord. You're getting ready for your big moment. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming out. When is that? Next week? Is it next week it comes out? Something like that. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for The Flash this week. Oh my goodness me. I think that might be on track to be the best superhero film of the year. I really do. I think that's going to be... I mean, that trailer was just brilliant. It was, honestly, it was so good. It was, Michael Keaton, I got so many memories back. And he looked great. He sounded great. I'm so looking forward to that film, honestly. Patrick says, can't wait for Randy Orton to make his return. He's a big loss at the moment. Yeah, the latest update for Randy Orton is, unfortunately, he's not really that close. There were rumours during WrestleMania weekend that he might be coming back, making an appearance, but he underwent major surgery last year. He underwent back fusion surgery. Now, to give a bit of a insight to what that is, that's the same surgery that Shawn Michaels had, and he was out of action for 4 years before he came back. He had a match in 1998 at WrestleMania 14 against Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event, and then the next time he wrestled was in 2002, Triple H versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam. So I'm not saying it's going to be 4 years. Shawn Michaels' absence was obviously his back injury, but in addition to that, he had a lot of issues, a lot of substance abuse issues during that time. But with Randy Orton, it's just going to take a while. So reportedly, he's not really that close right now. But again, hopefully he'll be coming back soon. Lux Hill says, maybe update the draft picks in the video description for Monday, allows more space. Well, I think obviously these ones won't be there Monday, and I can make the font smaller. It'll get worked out. I like the idea of having them on the screen. Star-Lord says, epic, exactly epic. I mean, it looks, I saw a clip from the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I won't go into spoilers, but even that, it was like, phew, I think this is going to be tugging on our heartstrings, that film, no doubt about it. But James Gunn is a genius, he really is. But we're back. SmackDown's back on the air. They're showing the respective doors of SmackDown and Raw, I guess, executives making their picks. Oh, there we have the Performance Center. Look, the NXT talents. Tyler Bate, Apollo Crews. Grayson Waller's there as well. So we're going to get some NXT call-ups. Who do you think it could be? If you haven't already, click the like button as well. Got over 60 people watching. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes. Why not? Our message from Bianca Belair as well. Bianca Belair going back to SmackDown. One thing I will say though with WWE recently, I mean, they're getting way too carried away with this whole piped in noise and the fake crowd noise. It is too much. Oh, honestly, it's too much. It's distractingly bad. They just did it there with Bianca. She showed up and you can just hear this sort of fake It's like they did it with Trish. Trish did a promo on Raw. When was it? The week before last? And the fake crowd noise was just so bad. It was so distracting. Really frustrating. Here he comes, LA Knight. Yeah. I've been a fan of LA Knight for years. Going back to Impact days, Eli Drake, I always found it... Yeah, I always found it baffling how he wasn't a Vince McMahon guy. And then when he was on the main roster under Vince McMahon, he wants to call him Maxxine Dupri. And he was gone. He was going to get released, fortunately, because he was taken off television and replaced by Maxxine. SJ says, big up all, smack the like button, share on your socials and subscribe. Indeed. Senyada says, seen a few reviews already. They seem good for Guardians of the Galaxy. I've seen that too. One of our members, Dan Mason, remember you can join the WN365 roster by clicking the join button. Says you go into All In. Don't think anyone expected Money in the Bank to go within a minute of general sale, so at least you can get your wrestling fix this year with AEW. I have a pre-sale code for All In, so fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We're looking to do a bit of a UV outing, a UV trip to Wembley Stadium for All In. which would be a lot of fun. Myself, Flex, KG, Josh. None of them have ever been to see a wrestling event live, so I want to take them. I want to treat them, and that would be a lot of fun. But the only problem is it's on. Is it Saturday, August 27? But the problem is that we don't know what the Premier League season is going. The Premier League season would have started by that point. Obviously, if United are playing that day, it makes it really difficult. So we kind of have to play it a bit by ear. So we'll have to figure that one out, basically. But we've currently got a match going on in the ring. It's Butch against LA Knight. Currently, I both believe on the SmackDown brand, if that counts or anything. Butch doing 10 beats of the barrow in his version of to LA Knight. LA Knight's on a bit of a horrific losing streak as well recently, hasn't he? I mean, did you hear the noise when he got eliminated from the Andre the Giant Battle Royal during WrestleMania weekend? But there are rumors he could win Money in the Bank this year, which would be great. Oh, look at this, a Kimura lock by Pete Dunne, or Butch, excuse me. Kimura, some people call it a key lock. Luxil says, thoughts on the crazy scriptwriter lawsuit that came out this week? Well, we did cover this here on the channel. If you're not familiar, essentially the story is that oh my goodness me. Belly to back suplex by LA Knight just plants Butch on the apron as they go to commercial. You don't have to deal with this in pay-per-views. But yes, the scriptwriter lawsuit is an ex-WWE writer has alleged that there was discriminatory practices at WWE, and particularly there were racist pitches in these writing meetings. And some of the alleged pitches are absolutely horrific. And what's really concerning as well is not only did they happen, but they've since been corroborated. Several outlets and reputable journalists have come out and said, yep, we've spoken to people that confirm that happened. I won't go into what they were. Again, we covered this extensively here on the channel, so you can check it out. But horrifying, absolutely horrifying. Now, as is the case with a lot of these lawsuits, I'm not sure how far it will go, honestly. But even if it ends in a settlement or just shines a light on some of the practices within WWE. I mean, I always say this to people that are sort of casual wrestling fans or only see these things occasionally on social media. WWE has one of the darkest and murkiest histories of any organization you can think of. Even without watching shows like Dark Side of the Ring, some of the stuff that WWE put on television in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s is horrifying, let alone some of the behind-the-scenes stories during those period of time. Again, WWE's history is built on scandal. And built on horrifying stuff that probably, again, the casual people won't even know anything about. It's horrifying. Things like Jimmy Snuka or some of the scandals involving like the female referee, Rita Chatton, which only recently got solved out of court in litigation between Vince McMahon, is horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. Let alone, the steroid scandal in the early 90s. It's nuts. I mean, it really is. So when these things come to light and people go, I can't believe it, any longtime fan of WWE will be like, yeah, it's nuts. And the fact that they're a publicly traded company and they somehow managed to get away with it is insane. Doc says, what's going on with Wyatt and Bliss? Both not on television at the moment. That's it. Sayo says, and I always wanted to know in commercial break what happens. Like, what do the fan that are there do when the wrestlers take a break? Well, the match carries on. Usually, it kind of slows down. To be honest, to answer your question, not a lot. I mean, nowadays, the best example is when you see a lot of time they do picture-in-picture now, don't they? And with picture-in-picture, you just see the match carries on as per usual. You don't really have any high spots or big spots or any big things in particular, but the match will just carry on. Sometimes when you're in the crowd, you don't even really know. You don't know that you're at commercial if the match is going on. Obviously, you know when there's... sometimes there's just nothing. If a match isn't going on, you're just nothing. You will just... Sometimes they'll play like a video package or something like that. To answer your question, not that much, honestly. But we're back from commercial. Butch and LA Knight in the middle of the ring. Luxil says, there was a point where they did stop wrestling during the commercial break, isn't it? A couple of years ago, Vince McMahon, and this is why Vince McMahon's insane. Well, that's just one of many reasons. But they had a thing a few years ago where Vince McMahon decided that all matches should be 2 out of 3 falls and they shouldn't be wrestling in commercials, or matches had to finish before they went to commercial. And then it was dropped after a couple of weeks because Vince McMahon would get these weird rules in his head that were then not followed. There was a thing during the pandemic when there were no fans where they went to commercial and they did legitimately stop because there was no need to carry the match. There was nobody there. But then in fairness, once they started doing the matches in the Thunderdome and you did have a live feed, they would just carry on. I was in the Thunderdome a couple of times, and like once or twice, and it was like, oh, it's not actually really that interesting at all. But yeah, that was an experience. the Thunderdome. Butch on the top rope, caught by LA Knight. Maybe looking for a superplex or something like that. If you haven't already clicked the like button, we're 11 likes away from 50, which would be a tremendous like ratio. Let me do a quick subscriber check, see where we're at. As I mentioned, we're less than 100 away from 11,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Let's see where we're at. Well, LA Knight, look at that. Leap to the top rope. He's going to go for a, oh my goodness. Oh. That not only was a superplex, that was kind of brainbuster-esque. Wow. Look at that. Straight vertical leap to the top rope. Superplex off the top. High and tight as well. It wasn't very flat. That's nasty on Pete Dunne. Beautiful. So we are currently 56 subscribers away. Only 56 subscribers away from 11K. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We're not far off. Step up Enziguri from Butch. LA Knight is so over, honestly. Oh, look at that big lariat. Fair to say, oh, he went for a stunner, I think. And Butch is now going for an armbar, seemingly. LA Knight gets his feet on the bottom rope. I tell you what, LA Knight is popular. He is popular in Corpus Christi, Texas. He's popular everywhere he goes. Yeah. Butch now grabs LA Knight by the hair. Oof. Throws Butch right into the ring post. What's Knight thinking here? Oh, whoa. Look, he planted him. That should be it. Yeah! LA Knight gets the victory. What a match. And what a salve for that finish. Looks like LA Knight might be sporting a bit of a shiner there. A bit of a black eye. I enjoyed that match. That was a lot of fun. And LA Knight is so damn over. He is popular. He really can be a big star. The only problem for LA Knight is that he's old. I think he's already 40. Bloodline's backstage. Usos saying it's a big night. There's Paul Heyman. Paulie. There you go, Paul. Paul Heyman was saying tonight is the night that the Usos get drafted. Not Monday, even though they do get drafted Monday. He was saying they get drafted to the Island of Relevancy. Yeah. JG, one of our members, says yeah with the with an emoji. Look at that. We've also got emojis. You can see that down there. The old SmackDown logo with the WN365. I made it myself. More coming soon. Got Paul Heyman giving a proper pep talk to the Usos right now. Lux Hill said, Owen, would you ever consider training to become a wrestler like Simon Miller from What Culture? You know what? When I was younger, I did look into it. I legitimately did. I looked into it. I was in, you would not believe it, but I was actually at one point in my life in very good shape. And I think I could have done it. But at the time I was working, and I don't know. Ah, look who it is. It's RVD. It's Rob Van Dam. RVD 420 is going to do the draft picks. Ah, The whole damn show. Oh, it's Michael Hayes. Oh, God. It's Freebird, Michael P.S. Hayes. The Freebird. Michael Hayes. Talk to Vince. Doot. RVD. Look at that. Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam as well. Oh, so that's what they're going to do throughout the evening. I like that. Special presenters. It does kind of feel like, doesn't it, like an award show, like the Academy Awards. RVD in a suit. Can you? Oh, who puts Rob Van Dam in a suit? It feels wrong almost, doesn't it? Seeing RVD in a suit. He's got to come out in a spray painted singlet. Probably smoking something that he shouldn't be. RVD 420. Oh my goodness me. Van Dam. So I think so. He was doing the picks for Raw, and Michael Hayes is going to be doing the picks for SmackDown. So that's going to be the presenting duo for the next round. Is Rob Van Dam and Michael Hayes. That sounds like the beginning of a joke, doesn't it? Rob Van Dam and Michael Hayes walk into a bar. Oh my goodness. But yes, right. I better get myself set up. Make sure I'm set as well. RVD, of course, got inducted into the Hall of Fame last year, didn't he? WrestleMania, no, year before last, excuse me. During WrestleMania 37 weekend, that was it. WrestleMania 37 weekend. He was part of the, because they did 2 Hall of Fames that year. They did the 2020 class and the 2021. He was part of the 2021 class, that was it. Last year was The Undertaker in his class. As for next year, I don't know, Philadelphia. I mean, there have been rumours, haven't there? Possibly, the likes of The Rock or... I think Paul Heyman. Philadelphia, ECW, headline it with Paul Heyman. I know it's WrestleMania 40 as well, but got to get Paul E in there, ain't you? I mean, for what he's done, in Philadelphia, it just works. But again, there have been rumours it could be like The Rock. Obviously, Batista, we know is going in at some point, but we still don't know. So... Dan Mazing, one of our members, says, is that the first time we've seen LA Knight win a match convincingly since his character returned? Way overdue. Can't wait for his push. Yeah. Tell you, it might be. Like I said, he's been on a real losing streak recently. I mean, he lost to every member of the New Day pretty much, didn't he? So hopefully that is the beginning of this fabled push that he's going to have post-WrestleMania. And again, like I said, there had been rumours that he was going to win Money in the Bank this year. Again, I don't know how true that is. But that'll be interesting. Trendy says, will Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair exchange their women's title? I hope not. I hope they don't do it that way. I hope they just sort of rechristen them and sort of do like, the Raw Women's Championship becomes the Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship becomes, I don't know, the WWE Women's Universal title. It's a horrible name. I don't know. But I don't want them just to do the whole, let's swap. Because that kind of negates being a champion for me. You should earn it. You should win it. You shouldn't trade it. let's trade titles. That doesn't work for me, brother, as Hulk Hogan once said infamously at Bash of the Beach. Which is going to be covered, by the way, Dark Side of the Ring Season 4. I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm also looking forward, we're going to be starting doing gaming streams here on the channel. I'm going to be doing 2K23 games, and also whenever AEW Fight Forever does eventually come out, if forever, take forever, we're going to be doing that as well with special guests. Wink, wink. Yeah, it was a terrible wink, Owen. Right, let's get this ready. So we know who our presenters are going to be. The next question is, who are the picks going to be? So we know that if the last round was accurate, SmackDown gets the start, or does Raw get the first pick this time? One of a kind! Ah. What a song! One of a kind! There he is. Rob Van Dam. Oh, God, here comes Michael Hayes coming out of Freebird. They're highlighting the NXT Performance Center. You never know. All right. SmackDown's going first. Wow, the Street Profits. They're not getting split up. I was thinking they might get split up, but I suppose they were put in as a tag team. So the Street Profits are the first pick of round 2. Interesting. I don't know. I'm ready for that Montez Ford singles run at this point. You know. Look at that RVD chance. He's still popular. He's still over. He says, fantastic to see you too. Who is it going to be? Imperium. Wow. Imperium are going to Raw. Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser, and GUNTHER. So the Intercontinental Championship is now on Monday night. I tell you what, GUNTHER as World Heavyweight Champion, sign me up. GUNTHER. Yes, I like that. Wow, Edge. Edge is going to SmackDown. So seemingly, I guess Edge is going to end his WWE career on SmackDown. He's saying that he's going to retire this year. He's talking about this somewhere in Toronto. Of course, that's where he's from, in Canada. And Edge is back on SmackDown. But I think the pick of this round so far is Imperium, because I think GUNTHER, he might be someone that could win that at World Heavyweight title. Raw's going to get. Of course. Well, this is why they're doing it. Because Matt Riddle had to be picked. He had to be picked by Rob Van Dam, didn't he? He had to. Oh, Wade Barrett saying that the locker room's got to be on a high. See what you did there. So that's round 2 of the draft. Raw gets Imperium, that being GUNTHER, Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser. They also get Matt Riddle. SmackDown get the Street Profits and Edge. So far, who do you think has the better roster? I'd say round 2. I don't know. It's close. It's close at the moment. It's close. I mean, they're not. The first picks weren't surprising, so I'm not even going to take that out. But again, I like Imperium on Raw. I mean, GUNTHER wearing the big gold belt. I know it's not the actual one, but GUNTHER wearing the modern version of the big gold belt. You kidding me? Yes, please. Yes, please. I like that. If you haven't already, click the like button. We're 6 likes away from 50, as I mentioned. We're about 50 subscribers away from 11,000. So if you haven't already as well, subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Here come the Street Profits, just coincidentally dressed in complete blue, almost like they knew they were going to get drafted to SmackDown. But I guess we're going to be getting a tag team match. M. Bison says, why did they make it seem like the Street Profits might split these last few weeks? I mean, again, I thought going into the draft, I thought that's where they were going. And I even thought, because they had a match on Raw on Monday, didn't they? And my feeling was at the time watching them, I sort of went, like, what more can the Street Profits do at this point, realistically? They've been Raw Tag Team Champions. They've been SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They were NXT Tag Team Champions. They've done it all on the main roster. And it's not like an Usos where it's like you can't split them up because you just can't. We've seen them have really good singles matches as well. I felt that now was the time. Unless it is a case of they're drafted to SmackDown to feud with each other in the future. Maybe that's what they're going to do. Maybe that's the direction. I'm not sure. They're back in the blue, the Street Profits. Been a lot of talking on this show, by the way, so far. 43 minutes into this show, and we've had one match. There's a lot of talking going on. Street Profits say, we want the smoke. Well, here comes Ricochet. Is Braun Strowman actually going to be wrestling? He's got concussion. There's Ricochet. I guess so. Braun's back. He's he suffered a concussion last Friday on SmackDown, and he missed live events this week, so seemingly he's cleared. Which is quite interesting, to be honest, because Braun Strowman's recovered from a concussion in a week. about that concussion protocol in WWE. How's that going at the moment? Because I don't know if you saw last week. They had a spot where Strowman had to like beel Ricochet into his opponent, and he missed, or he didn't throw him further enough, and then he kind of just sort of collapsed in the corner of the ring, and everyone sort of laughed at him at the time. And here come the LWO. Listen to the pop. Viva la raza. Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde. Man, the LWO are over. They're popular. Listen to the reaction. And by all accounts, the Latino World Order shirts are selling very, very well. There's two versions. There's the Mexico flag and there's the Puerto Rico flag. Jason says, do you think Triple H are splitting up the bloodline and moving the Usos to Raw after they get the titles back tonight? I think it's certainly it's interesting, isn't it, that they're being drafted on Raw on Monday. And maybe there could be a thing with, if they lose, they get drafted there, or if they win, I don't know. Oh, Strowman just throwing everyone out the ring. See you later. Lux Hill says, people have been saying Montez Ford has the potential to be a great singles competitor. He does. I was surprised. Oh, Strowman was going to throw Ricochet out the ring. He's saying, no, don't do it this time. Strowman saying, I got you. Ricochet saying, okay, he's going to throw him outside. He did. It worked. Strowman is a giant man as well, isn't he? Legitimately, he is ginormous. He is an absolute monster. And also as well, the physical transformation of Braun Strowman from when he first came in. I remember he debuted the night after SummerSlam in 2015. And he was a big guy, powerlifter, strongman competitor, but he was a doughy guy, you know what I mean? And then now he's absolutely jacked. He's crazy. M. Bison says, it feels like it's just Vince not wanting to split the Street Profits. I mean, look, it could be a situation where they've sort of said, we'll do the split, but we want to feud against each other, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to do that. But like I said, I was surprised by that. I thought now would be the right time to do it, certainly. Lux Hill says, men take longer to recover from concussions. Monsters, on the other hand, apparently only takes a week. Only a week to recover from concussions. And M. Bison says, the Viva la Raza at the start of the LWO theme is a nice touch. Yes. Not if you ask Chavo Guerrero, but he was only joking, apparently. I don't know if you guys saw that. Chavo Guerrero basically did a virtual signing where he got really angry and said, Rey Mysterio is prostituting the Guerrero name and he's making money off of it. We all loved Eddie, but don't come out in a lowrider at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. And then he doubled down on his comments on Twitter, saying he should pay the Guerrero daughters, all this kind of stuff. And people were like, what is your problem, Chavo? Seriously, like, what's your beef? What's your issue here? And then like an hour later, he said, see, I'm a heel. I was just tweeting as a heel. You all fell for it. And everyone sort of reacted and went, sure, you were trolling us. Not like, you know, you showed actually that you're a bitter shit. And everyone went, why are you being so bitter? And he went, I'm just joking. You know I'm joking, right? Yeah, of course you were joking, Chavo. Because you definitely said in one of your tweets, I can still go better than Rey Mysterio can now. Which you can't. I mean, the fact that Rey Mysterio can still go at the level he does right now, considering how banged up his body is nothing short of crazy. Rey Mysterio, I would really recommend it. Rey Mysterio did an interview with Logan Paul on his podcast. It was during WrestleMania weekend, and they were sort of saying, like, how? Because Rey Mysterio in the mid-2000s, the guy he got injured every year for like 9 months. His knees were completely shot. And now, I mean, he was wearing baggy trousers and ginormous knee braces, and now he's back to what he was doing in WCW. It's nuts. And he reckons it's all stem cell injections and all this kind of stuff. So good for him, because he legitimately is better than ever. It's fantastic. But we're just about to come back from commercial. A triple threat tag team match. It's always weird, the matches they have during draft shows, because they're basically pointless. You know, the way they have to frame it is they're trying to impress the executives that are making the choices. That's what they have to do. But again, they kind of just seem a bit redundant, don't they? I mean, I used to like it when they had the draft lottery, and what they would do is they would have people from Raw and SmackDown, and whoever won the match would win a pick for their brand. But it was a bit sort of dumb at points, because you would have people that had just been drafted to, say, SmackDown win a pick for their brand, which didn't make a ton of sense. Luxo says you've got the supersized Hope Juice on deck too. Oh no, this is actually very healthy. This is, you can't see, this is sugar free. Yeah, this is 0 calories. This is just because this is my 4th video I've done today, 4th stream. I did Match Day Reloaded, I did the Garnacha video, then of course I did the Takeover stuff, now I'm doing this. And my voice is a little bit strained, as you can imagine. JG, one of our members, says Eric Bischoff actually believed Chavo afterwards as well. Yeah. I know, I don't... Oh, look at Ricochet. Oh, beautiful. Almost a version of a West Coast pop by Wacky and Wild. Ricochet kicked out at 2. If you are just joining us, those are the picks so far in both rounds of the draft. Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch, Imperium, Matt Riddle drafted to Raw. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, Bianca Belair, The Street Profits, and Edge drafted to SmackDown 2. We're nearly an hour into the show, so I would assume we're probably going to get, what, 5 rounds maybe this evening? Something like that? Cruz del Toro gave a forearm to Strowman, who didn't look happy about it. He seemed pretty annoyed, pretty pissed off. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Spinning suplex by Wacky. Strowman fell over. Strowman went in to try and break up the pin, and he tripped over the rope. Oh, Strowman. Now he's just delivering right hands. He went to break up, but he tripped over the rope and kind of just fell over the people in the ring. And now we're going to get the Strowman Express. Chugga, 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 chugga. There goes one. There goes Montez Ford. Look at him, he's ripping his shirt off. Oh my God! Oh my Jesus! Angelo Dawkins just dived over the door. Oh my God! Ricochet dived onto Dawkins. I mean, I'm legitimately concerned for Strowman, because Angelo Dawkins dived out the ring and Strowman only saw him at the last second, and he landed on Strowman's head. Now the concern is Braun Strowman legitimately had a concussion the last 7 days. Oh my God. Ricochet went for like 630. Oh, forearm kind of missed him. Is Strowman okay? Jumping knee. Strowman's still down on the outside. Oof. Montez Ford. Frog splash. Oh my goodness. From the heavens. That might be all she wrote. And the Street Profits win. Street Profits get the victory. Someone check on Braun. Because someone jumped on his head. The angle that they had for Angelo Dawkins dive. Look at this. I've shown the replay again. Oh my God. He wiped out Strowman. And then they basically did the same thing. It was the same thing happened twice. They both weren't looking. Look at that frog splash. Faith says, thanks for doing this. How long have you been a fan of WWE? My whole life, Faith. Since I was a young kid. Since I remember the first time I ever watched any wrestling, I might have been like 4 or 5 years old. And ever since, never grew out of it. As they plug Backlash, Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. Of course, Bad Bunny's going to be wrestling at Backlash. He's not hosting anymore. He's going to be in a San Juan street fight against Damian Priest. Oh, my eye. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest should be fun. He's going to be super popular in that arena in Puerto Rico, which is always a great audience anyway. Let alone Bad Bunny. I mean, like, one of the biggest Puerto Rican stars like on the planet right now in a match. That's something else. Star-Lord says, does Pat McAfee still call matches? Well, the situation with Pat McAfee is a bit strange at the moment because obviously he's got all of these commitments, so he's just not available to WWE all the time. So last matches he was calling was the Royal Rumble. Last appearance he made was at WrestleMania. He's sort of just become like an affiliate, I guess, of WWE. I mean, is college football even still going on at this point? I don't think it is it? And he still hasn't come back, so unless they work out a deal, I mean, they might work out a deal whereby something like he just calls pay-per-views, almost a Joe Rogan role, if you will. Just seeing a replay of Bad Bunny beating the hell out of Damian Priest. Damian Priest said he's going to end his entire career in Puerto Rico. We're 2 likes away from 50, by the way. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe too, bottom right-hand corner. And as mentioned, we're just over 50 subscribers away from 11K. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. Well, yeah, next Friday, they're actually in Puerto Rico. They're doing the full weekend thing, aren't they? So there's going to be Puerto Rico, San Juan SmackDown, and then the next night's going to be Backlash. Oh, God. It's JBL. JBL's doing the pick for SmackDown. Hey, wrestling God. Who's going to be doing the Raw pick? Oh, God. It is him. It's Teddy Long. Holla, holla, holla. So JBL's doing the pick for SmackDown and Teddy Long's doing the picks for Raw. Oh my God. Teddy Long's old as well. How old is Teddy Long? I think he's like in his 70s. He actually looks great for how old he is. Teddy Long is 75 years old. 75, yeah? He's 76 later on this year in a few months' time in September. He looks great for being mid-70s. Someone was saying, I remember seeing like an interview of him. It might have been a Kayfabe Commentaries interview. Shout out Sean Oliver. And yeah, he was saying that even when he was general manager, every day on the road, used to get up, go to the gym, do his run or do a walk or whatever. That's what you got to do. And he's been in the wrestling business for a long time, Teddy Long. A long time. And he's iconic, isn't he? Go one-on-one with The Undertaker. With the Undertaker. It's going to be a tag team match, player. Ah, those were the days. Friday night SmackDown, and it was taped on a Tuesday. So over here in the UK, you used to watch it at like 10 o'clock UK time, which is brilliant. You could actually watch it, you know, at a decent time. It was excellent. I used to really enjoy that, yeah. And it was back, and then I realized afterwards, because it was taped on a Tuesday, then it was sent all around the world to air at 10 o'clock in the various markets and countries. So in Australia, it used to air really, really early. And they used to put that Australian version on YouTube or like online. And you could watch it really early. It was great. But now, of course, everything's live. But you still used to see the spoilers. I mean, I grew up going on the rest of the websites watching spoilers next day after as a nerdy kid. I've got to know what happened at SmackDown last night. I've got to know. Faith says, college football starts in late August and goes to early January of the following year. So just so you know. So yeah, so realistically, so college game day, I guess, isn't on at the moment. And he's still not back. So I think that kind of says what his role is going to be in going forward. Pat McAfee is not all that much. And we don't really know, honestly. Thanks for hitting 50 likes. See if we can get more. We've got over 70 people watching. Again, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, do our daily news videos, which will be coming tomorrow. WWE news videos and AEW news videos. I watched Rampage as well, actually. Whilst I was waiting to start this stream, Rampage was on a special start time of 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So I could actually watch it. It was an alright show. You know what I mean? I can see why I don't watch it every week. You can't. Because it's just, there's no point. Nothing really happens. It was fun show, but nothing really newsworthy. Kenny Omega versus John Moxley, Steel Cage, 2 weeks on Dynamite. That should be good. But apart from that, in terms of a show, Jay Lethal beat Cash Wheeler in the main event, which was, again, fun match, but no real... You know, nothing again to really write home about, but it was fine. Nice to listen to Jim Ross on commentary. As we're just about to come back from commercial, and we're going to get round 3 of these draft picks. Let's go. Round 3 settings. As you can see on the screen right now, those are the current picks. WWE 2K23, the highest rated game in WWE 2K history. If you've played it, let me know. Is it good? I haven't got it yet. Like I said, my plan is to start doing streaming here on the channel. I was going to do like a 2 thing where I was going to get, you know, Fight Forever and 2K23, but of course Fight Forever's taken forever to come out. But if you would like to see that kind of stuff, let me know. How it would fit into my day, I have no idea. Look at him! He's doing the Texas two-step. Old JBL. And here comes Teddy Long. Holla, holla, holla. Look at him. $75 years old. He's still jumping around dancing. Here we go. SmackDown selects. Wow. Bobby Lashley is going to SmackDown. That's significant. Oh my. The Almighty is on the blue brand. When was the last time Bobby Lashley was on SmackDown? I can't remember. I think he's always been on Raw. That's a big deal. Raw selects. Drew McIntyre on Monday Night Raw. So McIntyre switches from SmackDown back to Raw. He's going to be on a brand away from Roman Reigns, which means he might actually win a World Championship again. But Raw's become Claymore Country. I like these picks so far. SmackDown selects. Wow, the OC. The OC are going to SmackDown. AJ Styles, Gallows, Anderson, and Mitch and Mia Yim. A package deal. Now, AJ likes being on Raw because I think his son, he coaches his son like football team or something like that, so he doesn't like being on Fridays. So unless that's changed, I don't know. The Miz is on Raw. That took a bit of a dive. Going from AJ Styles to The Miz. I jest. The Miz is incredibly underrated. He had an absolutely fantastic match recently against Seth Rollins on Raw. But that's the third round. You've got Bobby Lashley and the OC going to SmackDown. On Raw, you've got Drew McIntyre and The Miz. I would probably say that SmackDown won that round. But I'm fairly happy with both rosters. I think both rosters look pretty. Both rosters look even so far. Here comes Zelina Vega. Of course, she's challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Look at that headdress. My goodness. A member of the Latino World Order as well. And Sonya Deville's already in the ring. Chelsea Green, I think, is at ringside. Jason says, what are your thoughts on Kevin Patrick, Owen? I think Vic Joseph and Booker T would be a better commentary team for Raw. Yeah, for me, I'm not the biggest Kevin Patrick fan. I appreciate he works really hard. I just don't. For me, they were messing with something that wasn't broken. I was a fan of Jimmy Smith. Ultimately, I was a massive fan of Tom Phillips. They should have never let Tom Phillips go. What they had going during the pandemic for Raw, which was a terrible show during the pandemic, is they had the commentary team of Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, and Samoa Joe. And obviously, he wanted Samoa Joe to wrestle, but Tom Phillips, he was the guy. He worked on Raw really, really well. Then they got rid of him. They brought in, was it Adnan Virk, who really didn't work out. Then Jimmy Smith, who wasn't even a play-by-play guy. He was a color commentator in mixed martial arts, came in and I think did a really good job. And then they changed it. They fired him and Kevin Patrick came in. And I appreciate he works hard, but for me, the Raw can be a bit of a tough listen, honestly. It's not really for me. Yeah, so Vic Joseph is another one. I don't mind him, but he makes a lot of noises. He does a lot of whoa, whoa, whoa. And I love Booker T on commentary because Booker T just does not give two Fs on commentary. He just decides to try and pop himself throughout the entirety of the show. Oh, what was that? Oh, kick to the gut by Sonya Deville and Zelina Vega. Dan Mazing says, definitely give gaming a try. Should be a good watch. Yes, I definitely will. That's definitely what I'm going to be looking at. Kev says, does Drew leave this year? His contract is up this year. I don't think he'll leave, honestly. I think he'll eventually re-sign. He'll get what he wants, I think. JG says, AJ Styles and Paul Heyman pending. Of course, yes. For the first time in a long time, AJ Styles and Paul Heyman, they're on the same brand. AJ Styles hates Paul Heyman. The OC, they hate Paul Heyman. Gallows, Anderson, and Styles despise Paul Heyman because AJ Styles blames Paul Heyman for Gallows and Anderson getting fired in 2019 during the pandemic. Like that's Paul Heyman's fault. Vince McMahon made the call. That's what I never understood about that whole thing. Here's Paul Heyman, I hate him, he's a snake. Why don't you have a problem with Vince? Vince is the one that makes that call. Vince is the one that makes that decision. And as I mentioned, AJ Styles, he's been a staple of Raw in recent years because he coaches his son's football team or something like that. So he likes to be available on Fridays. And the only reason why he got drafted to SmackDown was during the pandemic is obviously they weren't doing those games at the time. So maybe his son's older now and he just doesn't coach them anymore. I don't know. Sonya Deville going for the pin on Zelina Vega, kicks out. M. Bison says, Raw is looking pretty good, to be honest, apart from The Miz, LOL. Charles says, Drew may be the first World Heavyweight Champion. There's certainly, it's a good point you make, because there's certainly several, I think, really legitimate contenders, isn't there? Look at the people that have been drafted so far. Obviously, Cody Rhodes. Gunther, I think, is a dark horse to be that first World Heavyweight Champion. Drew McIntyre as well. Already, I think you can already see a pretty thriving World Championship picture for Raw, can't you? Oh, and Zelina Vega pins Sonya Deville. As far as SmackDown, who do we say challenges for the Universal Championship so far? They've already done the Edge versus Roman Reigns feud, so I don't think. Oh, Rhea Ripley. She just kicked Zelina Vega in the back of the head. Oh, and she headbutted Sonya Deville too. They're probably setting up a Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns feud, really, aren't they? I think. Reigns versus Lashley, they haven't done, as far as I'm aware. Have they? I don't think they have. So I would think. Oh man, Rhea Ripley is popular. Listen, they're doing mammy chants. Riptide. Oh, spiked her. Oh my goodness. Rhea Ripley just bounced her neck. That was nasty. So clearly they're doing the whole, if you're cocky, she'll capitalize. And Zelina Vega is now running away like a true babyface. Like a true babyface, Zelina Vega is running away from the champion. But of course, the Raw Women's Champion has been drafted already to SmackDown. So Rhea Ripley, you would think, is probably going to go to Raw. Maybe. As we see the Tag Team Champions getting ready backstage. Of course, that match is still coming tonight. The undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. I can't be that far away from it. We're already in the second hour of this show. But once again, we're in a commercial break. And this time next week, we'll be getting close to Backlash. As I mentioned, Backlash will be live once again, doing a watch-along, a post-show. As I promised, after WrestleMania, the watch-alongs, they are back. The post-shows are back. And I'm looking forward to doing them. The WrestleMania was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun doing that watch-along and post-show. So some big matches for Backlash. Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, first time ever. Really looking forward to that. That should be great. And then, obviously, we enter this sort of new era of WWE, which is these new drafted brands. How much they stick to them, how much they stick to these roster splits is going to be fascinating. We definitely know that, well, there's been rumors, haven't there, that brand exclusive premium live events could be returning. But that definitely won't happen until after Night of Champions. And then after that, you've got these big, international events. You've got Backlash in Puerto Rico. You've got Money in the Bank, which of course is at in the UK. What else have we got coming up? Their international events. I feel like I'm missing one. There's an Australian show that's coming up later this year as well. Obviously we've got Saudi, then we've got Puerto Rico, then we've got Saudi, then we got London. That's it. That's the order it's going in. Dan Mazing says, "What's your favorite finisher ever?" The best finishers are finishers that you can do on everyone, and you can do out of nowhere. Hence the RKO, the Stone Cold Stunner. To be honest, they'd probably be the two. The RKO, the versatility. I mean, the RKO's, it's a cutter, and the Diamond Cutter was the precursor. I mean, before that it was the Ace Crusher, wasn't it? John Laurinaitis came up with that. So RKO / Diamond Cutter and Steve Austin with the Stunner. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. What else we got here? Nathaniel says, "I want Bobby to destroy Roman." Won't happen. I think that looking so far, you would think that's the natural direction that they could go in, right? Is Bobby Lashley versus Roman, if they wanted to do that. There have been rumors, haven't there, that maybe you could see Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa at some point. I mean, the thing is now, when does Roman drop the championship? He doesn't lose at Night of Champions, obviously. He makes it to 1,000 days. Who would he drop it to at SummerSlam? I can't think of anyone yet. He's going to make it till next WrestleMania. Let's be honest. I really think he's going to make it to next WrestleMania as champion, because Bobby Lashley, of all of the people he's beaten, what, Bobby Lashley's going to be the guy? I don't think so. Sweet Chin Music, absolutely, that's right up there as well. Although the problem is with the super kick, it's become so watered down. It's like it's the modern day DDT, isn't it? DDT in the 90s and early 2000s got watered down, and I remember not really understanding it at the time. And people said, "Oh, the DDT used to mean something," and then when you go back and you watch Jake Roberts, you go, "Oh, I get it." And now it's the same with the super kick. There's Santos Escobar talking to Zelina Vega backstage. And then there's Rey Mysterio congratulating Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega saying she gets to do this in front of her family at Backlash. But they're giving her a bit of a pep talk, Zelina. They're giving a pep talk. As a Blade says, how do you watch Raw or SmackDown live or the day after in the UK? On BT Sports is how I watch it. It's how I'm watching it now. It's live on BT Sport, or if it's the next day, it's recorded on my whatever box you have, whether it's a Sky box or whether it's a Virgin Media box. Kev says, plan is Cody at WrestleMania. Report. I heard about it. I heard about that. Oh, here come the OC. Are we going to see? Is it him? Is he back? There he is. He's back. AJ Styles. Gallows, Anderson, Mitch and Miriam. AJ Styles is back. I would have expected maybe a bit of a bigger reaction. I told you, Corpus Christi, Texas is always a shit crowd. But the OC back on television, I bet Gallows and Anderson are glad that Styles is back, because since he got injured, they have done nothing. I mean, they haven't been brought to television. I don't even know if they were at WrestleMania. They signed these giant contracts with WWE, and then Styles got injured, and they just did nothing. So now AJ Styles is back. So I'm sure they're happy about that. Styles back, though, with his whole faction. I guess maybe you could get Roman Reigns, AJ Styles as well. They had some terrific matches. 2016 at Extreme Rules and Payback. Real good matches. Roman Reigns, AJ Styles. I'd be up for that again as well. So you've got some opponents, I guess. You've got Reigns versus Lashley. Reigns versus Styles. I'm up for that. Oh, and the OC are now been interrupted by the Viking Raiders and Valhalla. As Charles says, yeah, I think AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns with their factions would be fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that. I think you're right. Clearly, we could be heading in a Bloodline versus OC direction, which could be fun. And we spoke about the legitimate beef between the OC and Paul Heyman, so that would be fun if they make that into a real life thing. AJ Styles says, have you come out to pick a fight? Well, AJ Styles says he's going to scoot back. Clearly, AJ Styles is not medically cleared to compete because he's now sitting on the rope. And here we go. Mitchin's brawling with Valhalla. And the OC are brawling with the Viking Raiders. They're just beating the hell out of them. It's done. Here we go. Magic Killer. Bang. So the Viking Raiders, they're doing well. Clearly a segment to try and establish the OC once again. Yep, we're definitely getting Bloodline versus OC, aren't we? 100%. Because that segment did absolutely no favors at all for the. Or now maybe AJ Styles is cleared. Look at this. Phenomenal forearm. Bang. He's back. He is cleared. AJ Styles back. Phenomenal forearm. On Ivar. Yeah, we're getting Bloodline versus OC. That's a feud that's happening. There he is, HB Shizzle. Shawn Michaels is going to be doing the final round picks for SmackDown. Oh, Road Dogg's doing the picks for Raw. Great. Oh, amazing. Road Dogg. Everyone loves Road Dogg, right? Yeah. Great. Road Dogg, man. I used to love Road Dogg in the Attitude Era, and then now, as I've gotten older and Road Dogg actually does interviews and speaks and all that kind of stuff, you realize how much of a douche he is. Honestly. There's some of the stuff he says. Oh. Dan Mazin, one of our members, says, theme songs have fallen off a cliff so bad, it took me 3 seconds to realize that was the Viking Raiders. Used to be able to know who was coming out immediately. I know, it's the real example of that, Dan Mazin, is in the Royal Rumble. The last couple of years in the Rumble, they do the countdown, 3, 2, 1, buzzer would go off, and the music would play, and you'd be like, I have no idea who's coming out. The stadium that it was in would have no idea who's going to come out until they saw the Titantron. They saw the name, and they went, oh, that's who it is coming out. It's, yeah. You're right. I mean, obviously, Jim Johnston for years, incredible job. And then even the CFOs, they did a fantastic job. CFOs did some great theme songs, honestly. So, so good. Whether it's, Nakamura, Bobby Roode. What else did they do that were really good theme songs? Obviously, Aleister Black, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. They had some fantastic songs. And like you said, now the only one that was it, Def Rebel. Is that what the latest people are called? The only good one they've done is they've done two that are good: Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. That's the two. That's the only two that they've done that are good. Apart from that. No. JG says the OC needs to use biscuits and gravy. Wow. There was a funny story that Luke Gallows said about that. Is when he came back in 2016 with Carl Anson, Vince McMahon didn't even know he was Festus. He didn't actually know. Someone said, "Does he know you're Festus?" And he had no idea. Which is just peak Vince McMahon, isn't it? I guess. But we're getting ready for the final round of the draft picks. Here we go. Well, we're getting around for they said round 4. And then I guess we're going to be main event. It's going to be main event time. Maybe. They should give it a lot of time. It's a WrestleMania rematch, for goodness sake. Well, there's Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg. Well, I think we're going to be getting some NXT picks, because if Shawn Michaels, of all people, who runs NXT, doesn't pick any NXT people, I'd be pretty stunned. Who do SmackDown pick? SmackDown selects. Oh, Damage Control. Damage Control is coming to SmackDown. So that's Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. So we got Bayley and Michael Cole on the same brand. Raw selects Shinsuke Nakamura. I like that. Again, that's another one. He could go after the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm looking at that world title picture. Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura. They're all people that could conceivably be World Heavyweight Champion. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, this is an NXT talent. SmackDown selects NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Alba Fire. Wow. Interesting. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Very, very interesting. Well, is this an attempt to actually have, you know, a women's tag team division in WWE? I didn't think they were going to be the first NXT people drafted. Not many people thought of them. Here we go, another NXT pick. Raw selects. Wow. Indy Hartwell is going to Raw too. So Indy Hartwell is on Monday Night Raw. So NXT have just lost the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions and the NXT Women's Champion. Indy Hartwell is going to Monday Night Raw. I guess we're going to be getting an Index reunion. Very interesting. So what do we think of that for the pick so far? What brand do you think looks stronger? I would argue that Raw won that one. Obviously, Bayley's great. Damage Control. You got Io Sky and Dakota Kai. But I would argue maybe Raw got that one. But NXT needs a new women's division. But what makes no sense is, so you've done all that. Why did you have Indy Hartwell win at Spring Breaking? Surely she would have dropped the Women's Championship. And she got injured at Spring Breaking, and they nearly did an impromptu change anyway, where they had Tiffany Stratton win. And yeah. Oh, they want a tag title match on Tuesday on NXT. They might be dropping the titles, maybe, just maybe. But look, legitimately, we've got teams on SmackDown. That's good. You've got Damage Control. So you've got Io Sky and Dakota Kai. You've got Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. So there's actual women's tag teams there. I like Shinsuke on Raw. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell's that? Oh, Karrion Kross attacking Shinsuke Nakamura. And he was cutting a good promo. There's Scarlett. I guess it's Karrion Kross coming to Raw. Nakamura, by the way, has never been on Raw. He's always been on SmackDown since he came to WWE. Since 2017 rather, Nakamura's always been on SmackDown. Now he's on Raw. We're going to get ready for main event time, but that's the picks for the evening. I'm sure we're going to be getting picks after the show goes off the air, I suppose. Look at Paul. Paul's got something planned. Solo's looking at the tape thumb. Main event time. Are we going to get a tag title change? That's going to be the interesting moment. Here comes Kevin Owens. And what do you guys think? Are we going to get a tag title change? And out comes Sami Zayn too. This is going to be very, very interesting. But the tag title match is up next. See what some of you guys are saying. Fat Thor, long-time supporter from the United View, says Nakamura feels like he's fizzled due to poor characterization. Hopefully they can sort of galvanize him back to what he was on Raw. That would be hope. And again, I think just having that extra World Championship is going to be so important. So here's hoping he can. Faith Thomas says Fire and Alba, Fire, Alba, and Dawn, Isla, are going to be real good on SmackDown. I see Damage Control versus Fire and Dawn for the tag team titles. Anthony says, why did SmackDown gain 16 people while Raw only got 8? You'd think they'd want more people on the longer show. They've, seemingly abandoned the 3 and 2 approach to this, but obviously we're only getting certain picks during the show. There's going to be a lot of picks that are going to be made afterwards, so we'll have updated rosters by Monday. And obviously we've got the a longer show Monday, so there'll be more rounds on Monday too. JG, one of our members, says Usos win, Solo tax. Yeah, a lot of people thinking we could get a title change tonight, which is going to be really interesting to see. If you haven't already, click the like button. We've got nearly 70 people watching. See if we can get to 70 likes. We're only 15 likes away. As I mentioned too, we are currently, let's do a quick subscriber check, see where we're at. We're 51 subscribers away from 11K. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe as well. As Faith says, yes, the supplemental draft or picks will be happening between now and Monday too. So, yes, it will all get resolved. It will get sorted. But yeah, in terms of just eyeballing the picks so far, as to who's had the better, actually no. Now that the picks are in, I can put a poll in the chat, can't I? Poll in the chat. Who has the better roster so far? Or, well, what's the better question? Who has the better roster? Or who won? Who won? Yeah, that's better. Who won night 1 of the WWE draft? Was it Raw or was it SmackDown? There you go. Poll is in the chat currently. You can get your votes in as to who won night 1 of the WWE draft. Was it Raw or was it SmackDown? And I suppose the question is, are we going to get new WWE Tag Team Champions too? The NXT picks surprised me, not because I wasn't expecting NXT picks. I mean, frankly, they told us we were going to get them. We were going to get select NXT stars. Indy Hartwell doesn't totally shock me because she's been in NXT a while. Dexter Lumis, one would think, will be drafted to Raw, so they want to get that faction back together. That makes sense. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, I did not see coming at all. I thought if they were going to do NXT picks, it would be Bron Breakker. It would be not Carmelo Hayes. I think he's going to be sticking around. But Grayson Waller, I thought, would be involved. Maybe that's just going to happen on Raw on Monday. But considering, I suppose, Raw, it's on USA Network. NXT's on USA Network, so they want their big stars to be presented on that network. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like I'm reaching there. So yeah, the Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, they were technically the first NXT group. NXT Superstars to be drafted, which to me is wild. Very, very surprising. But as I mentioned, we're just about to enter main event settings, tag team title territory. The question is, are we going to get new champions? But, you know, jam-packed show. AJ Styles is back as well, and he's on SmackDown. The OC are back. Seemingly, I would think setting up a feud against Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. One would think in the future. But this is going to tell us a lot, certainly, I think. Jason says, are there more rounds tonight? I don't think so. I think they said this was the final round. There's a press conference next Friday, hosted by Bad Bunny. JG says, can't have Adam Pearce floating between both shows when the draft's finished. I don't know what they're going to do with authority figures, to be honest. They might keep it the same. I'm not sure. Interestingly, in terms of the poll in the chat, it's pretty close. 53% of you think Raw probably won. 47 think SmackDown won. Which, again, is interesting. They're just showing a recap of Triple H introducing the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw on Monday. And again, now actually looking at it, I think, like I said, I think there's plenty of stars that got drafted tonight where I'd say they could win that world title. That's going to be a really competitive world title picture, I think. So I'm excited about that. What did everyone think of the new championship? My feeling was on that world championship was just that, look, I like the look of it. The problem is it's clearly the big gold and they put a big logo on it. And to me, that's almost sacrilegious to put a logo in the middle of the big gold. Arguably one of the best looking championships ever. I don't know. Fat Thor says, over at Raw, I like to see Imperium grow. Gunther is really good. Over at SmackDown, I hope the Bloodline gets a new storyline angle because it's gone stale since the Honorary Usos left them. Your child says, I thought Bayley would be separate from Damage Control. Fat Thor also says, anyone feeling oozy tonight? Snee Vegas says, they're talking about Cody. I mean, the World Heavyweight Championship. Billy says it's a second place bout and not a fan of 3 titles. Well, it's going to be interesting to see if Reigns continues to carry around both championships with him or if they create a new one or something like that. I'm not sure. So they've said that the draft will continue on SmackDown Lowdown next month, tomorrow, on Peacock. So more picks are going to be made tomorrow. And obviously, so far this evening, Raw, they've got Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch, Imperium, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Indy Hartwell. SmackDown have Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, Bianca Belair, The Street Profits, Edge, Bobby Lashley, The OC, Damage Control, and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Next week on SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Karrion Kross from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Andrew Pollard says it's near craps. Drop the big ass WWE logo and it'll look much better. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded if it was a completely new design, but it's the fact that they've clearly gone, we want it to be the big gold, but we want to have it, we want to have a big logo on it so we can send it to people. I'm like, it's like the Mona Lisa, but putting a different face on it. You can't do that. You can't. And I feel like a lot of people that are saying, oh, it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's really good looking, I feel like they're newer fans that maybe weren't around with the big gold, Because I feel like if you lived through the big gold, through WCW into WWE, like, that's iconic. You don't change that. You don't mess with that. You don't alter that either. Here come the Usos. As Jason said, the draft continues tomorrow morning on Peacock, indeed. Fat Thor says, I mean, the Winged Eagle is the best championship ever assembled. And the pressure's on the Usos. Basically, Paul Heyman sort of saying you got to win or else. So the question is, do they win tonight? And Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens don't go to Saudi Arabia? Or do they... Does the tension in the bloodline continue? Anthony says, I've been around since the days of Jake the Snake and Hogan, and I can honestly say I like the new design. Well, I'm not against it. I'm just... Like I said, there's something about me that's going to take a while to get used to having that giant logo on the big gold, you know? I don't know. But the ring introductions are being done. And we have about, what, 22 minutes left. So it's probably a commercial break, maybe or two involved in this one. But the question is, are we going to get new tag team champions? But we'll know a better look at the rosters as well, like I said, after the SmackDown post-show thing tomorrow. But yes, the tag team titles are on the line. Main event time. Main event settings. Oh, and the Usos. And why did they ring the bell? The Usos attacked Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and the bell rang. Poor refereeing. Rudy Charles. And the Usos, Sami Zayn just went headfirst into the steel ring post. That was nasty. And Jimmy Uso now attacking Kevin Owens. And Jay's going to throw him into the ring. Oh, went for a super kick, blocked by Owens. It goes for a stunner. Oof. Bang, another super kick. How many super kicks are we going to get today? I remember when we did the WrestleMania main event and Josh was watching in the comments and he was furious. I can't believe they're doing so many super kicks. Speaking of, double super kick. Kevin Owens kicks out. And we've already got a commercial break. I told you there would be one straight away. That's the only problem, isn't it, with TV wrestling? You can have great matches and they just commercial break. It's like see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Your child says it'll be interesting to see what SOOR will do this evening. Certainly. Fat Thor says, is WWE insecure or what? Their brand is forever. Is there a need to put such a huge logo smack in the middle of a title? The title looks nice, but the logo could be smaller. It's just marketing, isn't it? That's what it is. It's just just marketing. The WWE, they did that, this version of the WWE title a long time ago, and then when they started sending them out as prizes to people every time people won like a sporting event, you won the Major League Baseball playoffs, here's the title. You won the Premier League, here's the title. And people would, these sporting teams and franchises would post them, and they would go, it's amazing. I can't believe they've done that. And they saw the UFC model, which is put your logo as big as possible. The belt is the logo essentially, and it's a great marketing tool. And I feel like we've gone away from the days, haven't we? That belts used to be like artwork. They used to be individual, and they used to be, again, they used to just be unique and different. And it's kind of got away from that now. Even the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship, they're just giant WWE logos, but they've got a either white, red or blue background, and that's it. And it's just they can be more than that. They can be better than that. They can be individual. They can be unique. And we've kind of got away from that, haven't we? Which is a bit frustrating. But look, in comparison to the WWE and Universal Championship, this new World Heavyweight title bout, I feel, is far superior to that, because at least there is some remnants of what used to be an iconic championship there. So, I'm not going to complain too much. Like I said, big logo on the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm like, no, you can't do that. But I guess that's the modern times that we're living in, right? Anthony says, by the way, in case nobody has already done this, thank you for doing the stream. Don't thank me. Thank you for tuning in. As I've said before a million times, I am so fortunate and so blessed to be able to do this and have you guys tune in. And this channel is how I started even doing any form of content creation. So this is my bread and butter. It will never ever go away. And like I said, glad to start doing the watch-alongs again. And the post-shows, we're going to be doing, again, one on Monday and one on Sunday as well. So really exciting year here on the channel. So thank you very much for tuning in. It always truly is a pleasure. What else some of you guys saying? Kenneth says, on other videos, they're promoting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to defend the titles at Night of Champions on May 27. Well, it would be very significant because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn haven't gone to any Saudi shows. Sami Zayn, he's just not going. He's of Syrian descent. He's not going to Saudi Arabia. And Kevin Owens, out of solidarity, is not going either. So it's going to be fascinating. There's two things they do. Either, obviously, they drop the titles tonight and the Usos go, or it's Night of Champions, but the tag titles aren't defended and they do some kind of angle to write them off TV for that event. It should be interesting to see what they do. But it does seem, isn't it, a bit redundant to have this giant WrestleMania moment. You know, the Usos held the championships for the record amount of time, 400 and something days as tag team champions. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win, have this big moment, and then what? 3 weeks later, they drop the titles on SmackDown just because they have to go to Saudi Arabia. Feels a bit redundant, doesn't it? And all that build, could you imagine all that build up, all that story, Sami Zayn being part of the bloodline, turning on the bloodline, won't he team up with Kevin Owens? Eventually he does team up with Kevin Owens, wins the title at WrestleMania just to drop it 3 weeks later. That would be so frustrating, wouldn't it? That would be so, like, in terms of an investment in your time, you would think, oh, was that really worth it? Was that, you know, am I satisfied with that story? I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Here we go, though. And Kevin Owens makes the hot tag to Sami Zayn. In comes Sami. Couple of clotheslines. Oh, big reverse elbow by Jey Uso. Look at Sami, all fired up. My question is, with Sami Zayn, is he as over of a babyface as he was a couple of months ago? Like, he's popular, but is he at that level that he was a couple of months ago? I don't know. Zayn gonna go for the dive. Dives over the top rope onto the Usos. They both go down. See a replay of this dive over the top rope. Zayn throws Jey Uso into the ring. Pamela Lee says no, saying that Zayn, it doesn't feel as popular as he was a couple of months ago. It does feel like, doesn't it, with this whole bloodline story, after it felt like it made sense, didn't it? The way it was going to WrestleMania, it made sense. And sort of coming out of WrestleMania, it does feel somewhat directionless, doesn't it? Like they don't know what to do with it now. Like, is the next chapter in this bloodline story the Usos being excommunicated? Oof. Sunset flip powerbomb, and Jey Uso kicks out. It was a nasty landing. But that seems to be like the chapter that they're teasing, that the Usos could be leaving, maybe. But it does, to be honest, just in general, WWE television since WrestleMania has just felt a bit flat. Like, there were episodes, wasn't there, of Raw and SmackDown going into WrestleMania, where, particularly SmackDown, where you would say, man, SmackDown this week was excellent. It was compelling. It was brilliant. You knew where the story was going, but it didn't matter. But it was great. Whereas now it's just a bit like you're not really sure direction. Feels a bit flat. I I'll tell you what, there are some guys in the front row that are all dressed in masks, and it's proper distracting because they're fighting at points. Sammy goes to the top rope, but Jey Uso drop kicked, caught Zayn right in the throat. That was nasty. Commercial. Commercial breaks, man. They are the absolute kryptonite of great television matches, aren't they? Fat Thor says, precisely, doesn't make any sense. The Usos will lose and Roman will have a major meltdown with his cousin for not walking the walk. Solo conflicted by this potential story, but it needs more. Snee Vegas says, it would be funny if Kevin joins the Bloodline tonight and turns on Sammy, lol. Fat Thor also says, Sammy is best when he's a comedian. This version of being like the guy who's balancing his team and trying to wake the Usos is not as fun as his honorary Us role. Well, this is my thing, right, with you know when people say, funny doesn't draw money. For me, that is the most ludicrous thing when they say funny doesn't draw money. You look at, the majority of the most popular stars in wrestling history or WWE history, how did they all get over? They all got over by being entertaining / funny. That's how it works. Look at John Cena. How did John Cena get over? He got over doing freestyling rap, and the freestyling rap was funny. How did The Rock get over? The Rock ultimately got over because he was a heel that was so entertaining and so funny that people loved it. Sami Zayn, how did Sami Zayn get over? He got over because he was so entertaining and funny in the Bloodline. Like Daniel Bryan, how did Daniel Bryan get over in WWE? Because he was an underdog that was entertaining and funny doing yes and no. The yes chant got so popular that he was still a heel and they tried to keep him a heel. He started doing no instead. Like these popular, like the popular top baby faces, initially, they're always funny. Like that, for me, that's how it works. It's always funny. And the trick is to maintain being funny and comedic, but also being able to get serious when it matters. And people like The Rock did that really effectively. But for me, again, I just, that notion, people want to say, funny doesn't draw money. To me, that is stupid. Like Snee Vegas says it, Mankind, Mick Foley got over by being funny. People liked the sock. That's, people, I don't know about you. When I'm watching pro wrestling, I'm watching it. I know it's not real. All I watch it is to enjoy it and to be entertained, And when things are bland and dull, not entertaining. It's funny. Why were DX so popular? They were funny. Like, that's it. Brush says it there. Seth Rollins is a great example of someone that can do both so well. Also comedic timing and great on the mic. That's it. I think, honestly, that's as a babyface, especially nowadays, in a day and age where heels are more popular than babyfaces, to get over as a babyface and stay a babyface, you got to be funny and you got to be entertaining. But the problem is WWE, they don't know how to do humor. They don't. KO with the cannonball to Jimmy Uso in the corner. Snee Vegas, Kurt Angle funny. Like, yeah, that's how he properly got over, because he's funny. Yeah, and like JG says, Roman Reigns suffering succotash. When they try too hard and they force it, people don't like it. It's a nuanced thing. Oh, beautiful inverted fisherman suplex from the top rope by Kevin Owens onto Jimmy Uso. Here goes Owens back to the top rope. Oh, swanton bomb. Man, the fact that Kevin Owens can do that is nuts. And Jimmy Uso kicks out. Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman watching backstage. Oh, Paul Heyman's getting a phone call. Oh, Paul Heyman's got a smile on his face. He said thank you. I think Roman Reigns has made the call. That was the call. Tonight is Solo's night. Tonight is your night, says Paul. Oh, we get a turn. The Usos going to be kicked out. Big Roman made the call. As Snee Vegas says, I think the cameraman knew there was going to be a call. Apparently the cameraman is privy to the phone calls. Just one of those moments you have to overlook as a wrestling fan, isn't it? The logic ain't really there. Get Sami Zayn teeing off on Jey Uso. Oh, super kick to Sami Zayn on the outside. The question is then, oh, Jimmy with a roll up on Kevin Owens. Oof. Oh, stunner. That should be it. 1, 2. Oh, and we're kicking out finishes now. Wade Barrett can't believe it on commentary. Obviously, it's not as good as their main event match at WrestleMania. That was excellent. Always very difficult with television, though, matches. Got obviously the commercial breaks. So now everyone's just waiting for Solo. Or is that a red flag? Is that a red herring? Excuse me. Are they trying to make you think that Solo's going to turn on them, but actually Solo's going to help them? Maybe we are getting a title change. And there he is. There's Solo. Solo's on his way out. Well, maybe this is where Matt Riddle comes out, I suppose. There he is. Yeah, I called it. There's Matt Riddle. Riddle attacks Solo Sikoa. Now brawling backstage. Well, we know what happened the last time that Solo Sikoa was sent to the back. Oh, a super kick by Jey. Double super kick. Here's the cover. 2. Oh, Kevin Owens kicks out. It feels like some people they're trying to communicate with each other. What on earth is going on? Where's Sami? Jey tags in Jimmy. Another super kick. Another super kick, this time to Sami Zayn. Oh, here we go, we're going to get another one. Another super kick. 2. Oh, and Kevin Owens kicks out. Because they love a super kick, don't they? Shawn Michaels backstage must see this and just like, he must be furious. He must be like, oh, back in my day. Another super kick. Kevin Owens down. Kevin Owens kicks out. Where is this finish going? Kevin Owens trying to fight back. And another super kick. Why doesn't Sami Zayn get up? Oh, they're going to go for a 1D, seemingly. Sami Zayn, I think, is going to get up. There he is. Grabs Jey Uso's foot. Oh, throws Jey Uso into the steps. Another stunner. Tag to Sami Zayn. Haluva kick in the corner. That should be it. 1, 2, 3. They didn't lose. They didn't lose. They retained. Tonight is not Solo's night. The Usos have disappointed, and now the question is, what is going to happen? Roman Reigns is not going to be happy. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I guess maybe the Usos are done with the bloodline after all. This ain't good. This ain't good for the Usos. He's not going to be happy at all. The Usos have let the Tribal Chief down. Look at Solo. He's furious. Well, I guess they're going to be thrown away to Raw, maybe. As JG says, banished to Raw. Not good. Now what happens? Does Solo turn on his own brother? The Usos head to Monday Night Raw. What they're going to do? And the draft continues. They might be in a bit of trouble, a bit of bother. Oh no. Very interesting stuff. Right, guys, I'm going to be gone right now. I'll be back in maybe 5 minutes or so for a post-show reaction. So don't you worry. You don't have to go anywhere. This stream will redirect you right back there. Thanks for joining me for the watch along this evening, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Peace. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.